Liberty Mastermind podcast. I'm Jack along with Pat, and Ox is out prepping for round 2 of his job interviews tomorrow, so wish him luck. Tonight we'll be discussing Trump and North Korea and martial arts lies.
Okay, Jackie, bring us into segment 1. So we're going to talk Trump and North Korea.
All right. It's all over the headlines right now. And honestly, this podcast is going to come out 3 weeks from now. So it might be a little old by then. But, it's all over the news right now. So we thought we'd talk about it.
Well, a good point to bring up with that is North Korea has been all over the news for the last several decades.
That's true.
So we've heard this before.
Are you worried about North Korea?
I don't think it's going to affect the temperature in my pool unless I get deployed there, which I would have no pool.
Right, exactly.
So hopefully my contract ends before, and if we go to war with North Korea, I don't see how that could be a good thing. We would have done that a long time ago. If we needed a new boogeyman, I don't think North Korea would be it. And that's, let's go ahead and get this out of the way quick. War is a Racket. That is a book that I recommended on my website, Uncensored Tactical. The link will be in the show notes on libertymastermindpodcast.com. And it will bring you directly to the article where I reviewed War is a Racket. And it is freaking crazy. The book's less than 100 pages. Even if you buy the extended one, it's like a 40-page book plus like 20 more pages, somewhere in that ballpark. And it is freaking mind-changing. Long story short, who wins when the country goes to war, and who loses, and who else doesn't lose. So once you can get the answers to those kind of questions, you realize, oh my God, this whole thing's been a racket for over 100 years.
No, it's real though, because North Korea has nukes.
Yeah, a lot of people have nukes.
The news told me so.
The news told you?
Yeah, and they said that they could possibly reach America.
Sources say.
Yes.
Because I remember watching the news when they said government sources say, and the first time I realized that was a ruse was when I was on a boat cleaning dishes and doing laundry for everyone else that was doing military work. And I was a military source. I was a government source.
Mm-hmm.
I could have been the one that said I have inside information on North Korea.
Absolutely.
From behind my dishwashing counter. So government sources say, so let's do some critical thinking here, and let's not let the media control our brain. When they say, sources say, it should carry about as much weight as...
my penis says.
Which, subjective. Depending on what you got going on during the day. And that should be the news too, subjective. Sources say this. All right, well, let's not put any credence on that.
Right.
Or minimal.
Right.
Okay, so do they affect the temperature in our pool? Absolutely not.
Is there, let's say North Korea launched a nuke and it hit America. Is there anything that you can do about that? No. So... sphere of influence, people. Like, what exactly? Why worry about it? There's nothing you can do about it.
You can prepare, make yourself a little bit more prepared in general to live day to day.
Right, but there's nothing you can do to change.
To stop a nuke from coming?
Right.
And if it hits you, you can't stop it. If it hits near you, you're going to die of radiation anyways, no matter how much care you get. If it doesn't hit near you, then you're going to be doing okay. And I have here's something else to consider. I do think we have the capability to know when they launch.
Yeah.
And to stop the launch or to stop it shortly after launch.
Yeah.
I think we have that capability, but let me let you in on a small story. So I was on a U.S. Navy warship, and it's a long, hysterical story, but I'll try and keep it short for the podcast. So the captain... I don't really have good luck with military officers. I've found that a very large majority of them that I've interacted with are completely worthless. But I like to give credit where credit's due. So the captain of this Navy ship seemed as though he had his shit together. So he says, all right, you guys just captured this drug boat for us. Great. We got permission to sink it. Let's sink it. So we said, great, we'll get the 50 cals out and start shooting at it. And he went, well, I got this huge 76 millimeter cannon on top of this Navy ship.
And I'm just itching to pull the trigger.
And that was great. I loved it. And we were like, yeah, we'll give you a couple minutes to knock some shells around. So this is our defense system. We need warships. Yeah. It's got a big, huge cannon prominently displayed on the very top of the boat and swivels all around. So the captain of this Navy ship, who has the authority to make this happen, calls back on the ship's intercom, and I'm standing right next to the captain on the bridge of the ship. And he goes, hey, gun guys, let's shoot some bullets. And they go, okay, requesting to unload the bullets from the magazine. And he goes, yeah, request granted. Just put the bullets in the gun and shoot. You have my authority. Go. And they went, requesting permission to test the limits of the gun. So he's like, yeah, just do it. They went, stand by. So they test the limits of the gun. Up, down, left, right, swivel around, up, down, left, right. Stand by, adjusting limitations. And he's like, just point the gun to the right and pull the trigger.
Shoot the fucking boat.
And I mean, here's something you need to know too. The kids weren't idiots. But let's say something bad happens, right? If you're in the general public, you might not know this, but when bad things happen in the military, the first people that get held accountable are not the people that are responsible for the unit or the squad. It's the people that do it. Mm-hmm. So these kids, they know that they have a policy to follow. Like, they don't know if this is a trick. They're like, we have to do these. Look, I'm going down the checklist. It says, ask for permission first. So, yeah, kind of. The captain's screaming at you, go, just shoot the gun. Just do it. And the kids are saying, well, okay, we're working on it. So, punchline of the story is they get the bullets ready. They shoot low, and they miss the boat. They adjust for height. They shoot high, they miss the boat. They shoot left, they miss the boat. They shoot right, and this boat is like 400 yards away. It's a big boat, and it's not moving. It's empty. There's no people on it. And they missed 4 times. And then the gun broke. And they said, we're broke. We can't shoot anymore today. We're done. So while I think that we have the capability of stopping missiles, I also think 9/11 we had the capability of stopping hijacked airliners. I also think we had the capability to go, hey, I'm watching this plane, just got hijacked, it's on radar, can you track it? Oh, no, we can't track it, sorry. So you would think we have these things, maybe we don't. But even with that being said, I don't think it's likely that they will attack us. And if they do, I think it's likely we'll stop them. Because here's another thing to consider. On 9/11, the president did okay, Giuliani did okay, the guy that owned the tower did okay.
He did great.
So if any high-ranking public officials live around you, like, it's a good chance that they're not going to allow a missile strike if they have the option of letting someone get hit. It's probably not going to be them. It's probably not going to be Washington, D.C. If it gets through the missile shield, it'll probably be in the middle of nowhere where it hits. Those are my 2 cents from my conspiracy brain.
Yeah.
Trump?
Trump?
Yeah, we talked North Korea. What about Trump?
Oh, just the whole...
Everything.
Yeah. My question is, what does he stand to gain from it?
My brother asked me a similar question. He said, Trump can't possibly be swayed in his opinion. He's got so much money. And I said, well, Congress has the money to do investigations, or the power to investigate him and to fire him, and to, I'm sure whether they have the power to or not, it's likely that if he wasn't doing what he was supposed to, can they freeze his assets? Can they rewrite the law? And if Trump doesn't sign it, he vetoes, can't they get a supermajority and say, we really don't like what you're doing. We're going to get a supermajority, we're going to pass this bill without you, and we're going to say people with the last name Trump are no longer allowed to own real estate. Boom, he's done. So while he may have a lot of money, that doesn't mean that he can use it however he wants. So my brother said, there's no way that they could possibly sway his decision. And I thought, I think you can sway anybody if you have enough power.
Yep.
And I also don't think that the president is in charge of the whole country. He's definitely not in charge of Congress, definitely not in charge of the Supreme Court, although he has some sway. But even above that, I don't think that those people are the ones that are pulling the strings.
No.
At a minimum, it's 50-50 with big government and Washington, D.C. It might be the other way around. It might be big business on top, the government not on top.
Big business on top, definitely.
Which would be reverse fascism.
Neo-fascism.
Neo-fascism. This is a democracy, damn it. Well, nah. Not for a long time. So, yeah, Trump, I don't have much to say on. I don't care if it's Trump or Hillary or some other idiot. I think, to me, it makes no difference.
No, it doesn't. And we would be looking at the same things right now with Hillary. It might be faster. It might not be. I don't know. But, it would be a different group, beating the war drum. It would be the liberals beating the war drum instead of the Republicans. Or the conservatives, whatever.
For everyone in the audience, I like to recommend books, and I like to recommend you don't read certain books because they're a waste of your time and they're not very, there's not a lot of value in them. But I don't tell people what to do here, but I highly recommend you read War is a Racket, or at least read like the first 2 chapters if you can fit it in your time. It's a short book, period, but man, is it life-changing. So this guy, General Smedley Butler, cool name, right? Smedley?
Yes.
So even within the first few chapters, he starts dropping these "oh my god" bombs, and you're like, "Holy crap!" Let me give you an example. This is not a direct quote, so the numbers might be a little off, but he says, General Steele, before World War One, like the 3 years before World War One, they made an average of $1 million a year in profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big steel company, huge. The first 3 years of World War One, guess how much they averaged making a year? Steel company.
No idea.
I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like somewhere between like $17 and $30 million a year. So take whatever you got in your bank account and triple it by 30, and that's what happens to big business when the government goes to war.
Yep.
That's also what happens to the government's pockets when the government goes to war. And you won't be surprised to know this, that the government doesn't go to war, they send us to do it.
Right.
So even if it doesn't go so well, they're doing okay. And big business, even if it doesn't go well for America, big business sells all their big business stuff to whoever we're fighting also.
Right.
So read the book. That'll give you, every single war discussion can start with, hey, have you ever read that book? It is so deeply my base now that everything, I just see through so much bullshit.
That's been on my list for a while. I think I need to download that ASAP. Get that read by this weekend.
So cover some Trump, some North Korea. What do we got next?
Well, we've got about 15 minutes left, so let's go ahead and get into martial arts lies. Or should it be called self-defense lies?
Self-defense. You can do a martial art, and it doesn't have to be effective, but self-defense, if you're going to train to defend yourself, there's some things that kind of happen. So you want to go over a little bit of your history? Maybe not all of it, but so we're not...
I've been in various martial arts all my life, since 6 years old, I guess. There was Taekwondo and Tang Soo Do, Jeet Kune Do, Shaolin Kung Fu. I've done a little bit with some Krav Maga, not much. I would like to do some more.
Oh, I love it.
I would like to get into some Sistema, and I've never done a whole lot of groundwork. I've never actually been taken to the ground before.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's good to know if you go, but...
My old man was a cop for 30 years, and he said, you gotta know groundwork, because 80% of fights end up on the ground.
Right.
For either one or the other party or both of you.
Right.
I was like, well, that's sold it for me.
That's true. A lot of what we did in Kung Fu, you stop the fight before it even got there. Like the fastest, most efficient way to end the fight is what you did right then.
Krav Maga's got a similar principle. They say as fast and as effective as possible. Okay, I started late in high school when a kid skinnier than me and dorkier than me, I know, right? Tough to believe.
Yeah.
some long-haired musician kid who I had no clue did martial arts. I was in the bathroom and I was being a young, dumb high school kid, and we were all hanging out, skipping class. And I said, "Oh, I'll kick your ass." And he went, "Okay." And he came at me with elbows and knees and fists and punches and combos and knees and shin kicks. And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 skinny kid, what's wrong with you?" And I literally was in fear for my personal safety. I was like, I don't know what just happened to me. And I looked at him, and we were friends. We were goofing off.
Right.
I looked at him, I'm like, dude, where, first of all, where did you learn that? Second of all, how do I start? And literally the next week I was enrolled in classes, and I was in high school. So it was a crazy feeling. And for, let's see, the next 3 or 4 years, I went about 6 or 7 days a week, a number of hours per night, nonstop without fail.
Nice.
And I fucking way up.
Here's a fun fact. I met my wife in Kung Fu.
Awesome.
And we used to practice 30 hours a week. Easy. I mean, that's all we did. It was great.
It's a great place to meet chicks, if there's any chicks at your dojo.
Yeah.
If there's not, then, it's a good time. So I'll tell you some of my experiences that kind of helped. I think I got lucky. I started at a Jeet Kune Do school. We did some basic boxing and kicking. Mm-hmm. We did the Bruce Lee's curriculum, Jeet Kune Do curriculum. I am a legitimate certified Bruce Lee lineage student, which sounds great, yeah, but I mean, like we'll talk about later in the series in our podcast, certification versus ability is a really interesting beast. So because I've done it, you shouldn't have all of the credence, shouldn't have all the weight, but I wasn't lied to, so that's good. I wasn't taught by someone in our garage that pretended that they knew something. So I did some Jeet Kune Do, I did some Thai boxing, I did some Krav Maga, and then probably 90%, when I'm on the street dealing with the idiots that I deal with in law enforcement, 90% of what I do is Filipino Kali. I love it.
Nice.
And the Bruce Lee was what I started with, but the Kali is now my base. And it's the weapons, stick and knife fighting, and it's got empty hands as well.
I would love to know some knife Kali.
So let's talk about some lies. Number one, does your martial art do what it says that it does? So if they say, we're going to put you in the ring and teach you how to fight people, do they ever end up putting you in the ring? Another example of that is if you go somewhere and they say, we're going to teach you weapons training, and in the first 6 or 8 or 12 months you never touch a weapon, maybe it's time to go somewhere else. Okay, what else? Is it weapons-based training? Because if it's for self-defense, if you train to box and kick and punch and wrestle and bite and headbutt and elbow, well, it's great, but what if the bad guy has a knife? Mm-hmm. Do you change anything that you do? What if you have a knife and he doesn't? What if you both have knives? What if one has a gun? What if you have a gun? Can you disarm somebody? Should you disarm somebody? So do you have any experience with any weapons-based training, or anyone lying to you about it and saying, we're going to teach you, but not, or kind of maybe not meeting that bar? Saying, we're going to give you this experience with the weapons, and then maybe not fulfilling.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have lots of experience with weapons training. Not on the martial arts side, not that much with guns, like disarming. Mm-hmm. A little bit, but not that much. Lots of knives, lots of sticks, stuff like that. Yeah.
From my experience, the Bruce Lee's curriculum, I don't remember it offhand. I know in the very beginning stages it was a lot of just kicking, punching, grappling, elbows, trapping, and some groundwork. I think weapons might have worked in at the end, but I'm not sure. I can't recall. But I can tell you Krav Maga and Filipino Kali, for me, are the perfect blend of the two if you can get into each zone and then figure out how to blend them. Because the weaknesses in each of those offset the strengths for each of those, and they're awesome together. And they are very heavy. Both of them are very heavy in weapons training. And I know in the Filipino Kali, you start with sticks and knives and work into empty hands. So really? If the safety sphere is, I want to come at your face with this knife, and you better make sure you're way clear of it because it's really scary. So you want to have what they call a big safety sphere. So if I go to slash you, you want to be able to really miss the knife, not just kind of miss the knife. Right. So the good news is when they take the knife away and I go to punch you, your safety sphere is huge. So now you can shrink that safety sphere, and you can be more comfortable with empty hands moving near your face because you're so used to, I got to stay way clear of this attack. And well, now I got to stay kind of clear of this attack. And oh, that's cool. I'm used to it.
Right.
So the Filipino Collie, day one, they said, grab 2 sticks, let's go. And we did so much of it that I wish we had more empty hands training to see the application, because everything they did do from the stick to the knife to the empty hands, they do many other weapon systems as well, but they focus on those.
See, I'm used to closer combat. Like, the faster you can get in close and do as much damage as possible and get back out, the better.
I did experience some of that with Krav Maga. That's great for close-in stuff. And the nice thing about Krav Maga is, on the first lesson day, they said, here's one empty hand technique. Well, I didn't offshoot of Krav Maga. I did what's called the Haganah, or the fight system. Mm-hmm. FIGHT, like it's a big, long acronym.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of that.
It's from Krav Maga, but it's all the same curriculum components, but boiled down, they say. And the first day, they went, here's an empty hand technique, here's a knife technique, here's a gun technique, loop it. I'm like, okay, great. And then the next day, they said, do all those again, and we're going to give you a new empty hand technique, a new knife technique, a new gun technique. And I was like, all right, jumping right in, awesome. Nice. So on day one, they said they would deliver that, and they did, which I liked. A lot of martial arts don't. Like, I tried to not apply, I wanted to give them my money. I remember one academy in Orlando, Florida I went to, and they said, we're a Jeet Kune Do school. And I said, great, you guys do weapons training? And they were like, yeah, no, we do it, yeah. I'm like, oh, where do you have any in this studio that you, like, I don't see any weapons laying around. They're like, well, we do it later, but we train you first how to box for a couple of years. I'm like, well, it's not going to help next week when I get mugged.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, how are you certified through the, you teach Jeet Kune Do? And they're like, yeah, the Bruce Lee method. And I said, the method? And they went, yeah. And I said, oh, so who are you certified under? And I said, well, we're a certified academy. I said, great, under who? Because it's on the it'll be on the website. Mm-hmm. And for any of you that are listening that are interested in the Bruce Lee method, if you go to Inasanto Academy, I'll put the website in the show notes, but I think it's inasantoacademy.com. Dan Inasanto has a list of every single person that's certified under him in the whole world. So Bruce Lee taught Dan Inasanto. Dan Inasanto has instructors under him, and you can find that lineage through any academy in the world. And if you can't find them on that website, they're not legitimate. So that's a fun fact for some value for today. What else do we got?
Does it actually actively train you for handling multiple attackers? That was something that Kung Fu definitely did for me.
Good.
There is lots of multiple attacker
drills.
Yeah, drills. That's fine.
I know Krav Maga did a great deal of that for me. I know, and I don't think it was the art form. I think it was the instructorship. But the Filipino Collie said that they would do that for me, and they did not. They said, it's important that you triangulate, it's important that you have footwork because of multiple attackers. And I was like, great, let's do it. And for years and years now, in Filipino Collie, I can't remember doing one drill with multiple opponents.
Really?
And I know that that's part of their system, I know that's part of their principles and how they teach, but I have yet to do a multi-person drill in in Filipino Collie.
Really?
But in the Israeli art, almost the first week I was doing that, where it was, even if it wasn't active, like 2 people kicking your ass at the same time, it was, okay, you punch me, I deal with it, okay, you punch me, I deal with it. So we started with the basics, and we started working up. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so cool, man. So I don't know if you should train in just one martial art. I
don't think you should.
If you want to be prepared, perspective is a huge tool.
Absolutely. And being able to adapt. If you're in Taekwondo and all you fight are people who are in Taekwondo, you're going to get your ass stomped.
You're going to have a bad time. So, does it allow you the flexibility to fit your own personal style? And in the words of, I believe it's Dan Inosanto, and I don't know if it came by way of Bruce Lee or not, but the quote is, absorb what is useful, discard what is not. The trick is really the first part. which is absorb what's useful. Well, you can't absorb it if you don't try it. So that's the whole what if problem in martial arts.
Right.
What if he has a knife? Okay, well, what if he's got a gun? Well, okay, well, how about you just learn the fucking technique first? And then if you don't like it, get rid of it. But fucking try it.
Right.
I don't want to elbow someone. Okay, well, try learning how to elbow someone. And then if you're not an elbow fan, then decide not to do it.
Right.
And then the discarding is important too, because just like with shooting, if you're going to give everyone the same gun, you got to be aware everyone has different sized hands.
Right.
Okay, well, if you're going to give everyone the same techniques in martial art, maybe you need to know it's not going to have the same fit for everybody.
Exactly.
Even if it's not physical, even if it's mentally, I'm sorry, I just can't remember this technique. I just can't do it. I just can't make it work. Try harder. Yeah, okay, but at a certain point, I'm going to use a different technique.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very common.
So I guess that's more on the instructors, though, because
well,
they allow you to drop things that don't work for you? Or are they going to overly force you to do things that...
But if you're in a system that doesn't allow you to drop those things, then it's time to find another system.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's good for the student to know, too. And it's good for the student to be able to ask, hey, can I drop this part? This part doesn't make sense to me. And maybe if they show you, besides just doing like an open hand or a closed hand or a weapon form, where you do these moves without an actual opponent, maybe they can say, well, this is what it's for, and then step in and actually show you what it's for, and then that might register.
Oh, dude, that's the greatest part about this. I will never in my life forget, in Krav Maga one day, I made the mistake of doing a couple what-if questions. I knew what was coming, but I said, okay, you stick this training gun in my neck, and I'm supposed to peel your hand away and hit your arm and hit your neck. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of worried about this. I'm kind of worried. He's like, okay, no, fuck it. Let's just do it. And I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, I'll stick the gun in your neck, the training gun. It's all one big blue formed plastic. He's like, let me stick this in your neck, and you just do it. I'm like, I'm kind of nervous. And he's like, no, let's just do it. So I'm like, okay, I do it kind of 80%. I'm feeling kind of, I hit the arm, I hit the neck, I knee him in the leg, I push him back, I strip the gun. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you do it to me. Never fucking had he didn't hit me hard, but my fucking mental clock was reset so fast, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be the bad guy. Which painted such a vivid picture in my head that, yeah, what if? But what if doesn't happen during, like, if it happens in real life, it's over, it's gone. But you can only do the what if game if you press the pause button.
Right.
Which you don't do in combat.
Right.
So do some good research, try and find a good martial arts academy, and be aware that failure is an option. If you hate it after 2 or 3 months and you're not learning, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or go online, or find a friend and buy some DVDs until you have the time to travel and go to a seminar, or to take a week vacation and train somewhere that you want to train. Or we might have some classes coming up. Maybe not in the next couple of weeks, but long-term plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not knocking any system. We're just saying that the system you choose might not be the right system for you. So be open to any and all systems.
And you can get things from all of them, but just like, here's a great example I left out on our list of bullet points here. If it's designed for the ring only, and it's designed for you to earn points in a competition, be aware that you can definitely learn some things from it. Like, I would not want to go fight a professional boxer, even though it's a ring sport. I would not want to go fight a professional MMA fighter. But be aware that sometimes they don't have to guard against spitting or eye gouging or groin kicks. Now, while they might be brilliant athletes, it's still a ring sport. So yeah. I'm not saying they're not tough. They're tough as motherfuckers, but just be aware of what you're getting out of it and what you're not.
And there's no such thing as a fair fight.
Well, how does that tie into liberty? We'll close it up.
I mean, that's all about your personal space and your personal freedom. Like, you got to be able to defend yourself and your property.
And don't let your mind be controlled by the media. It probably doesn't matter who's president, and unless we go to war, don't worry about going to war.
That's right. All right. That's the end of episode 8. Thanks for listening, and we hope you tune in next week. Until then, be alert, stay safe, and seek out liberty in everything you